The 17 News at Sunrise podcast is brought to you by Clinica Sierra Vista.
Welcome back to the 17 News at Sunrise podcast, where we share your news on your schedule.
Working in the spirit of the Golden Empire, this is 17 News at Sunrise.
And good morning here at 5 a.m. Thanks for waking up with us. I'm Maddie Jansen alongside Alex Fisher. Time now is 5:02 and breaking overnight, a semi-truck was swallowed by some intense flames in North Bakersfield. Take a look at this video sent to us by Brandon Barraza. The fire happened on Merle Haggard Drive near Highway 99 just after 2 o'clock this morning. CHP says this semi was carrying produce before it caught fire. No word if anyone was hurt.
It has been 15 months since Orrin and Orson West were first reported missing by their adoptive parents, who are now awaiting trial for their murders. Last night, a candlelight vigil was held in remembrance of the boys near the corner of Potomac Avenue and South Owen Street in East Bakersfield. The boys' bodies have not been found, but relatives and members of the community are hopeful justice will be served with the arrest of Trezell and Jacqueline West.
We're happy that they're behind bars. They can't hurt nobody, no other kids and nothing like that. So we're just gonna wait for the trial to see if anybody comes forward and maybe one of the 50 people that came forward in the indictment knows exactly what the boys are.
Another vigil was held yesterday at the Casa Loma Apartments in Bakersfield, where Trezell and Jacqueline used to live.
It is day 2 of Judge Ketanji Brown-Jackson's confirmation hearing, which is expected to get contentious today. Republicans already previewed their line of questioning that we will hear as they criticize President Biden's Supreme Court pick.
NBC's Bree Jackson is in Washington with a look at what to anticipate.
Truth, I hope you got it.
I do. Judge Ketanji Brown-Jackson stepping into the hot seat today after making her case to become the first black woman on the Supreme Court.
To inspire future generations and to ensure liberty and justice for all.
Over the next 2 days, the 51-year-old will face scrutiny from senators as they probe her judicial philosophy.
I like the fact that you've had such broad experience in our judicial and legal system, but there are still unanswered questions that remain.
Republicans previewing one line of attack, accusing Judge Jackson of being soft on crime, pointing to her sentencing decisions in child pornography cases.
In each of these 7, Judge Jackson handed down a lenient sentence that was below what the federal guidelines recommended.
How could this woman possibly have the endorsement of the International Association of Chiefs of Police and the Fraternal Order of Police and be soft on crime?
Democrats praised the nominee's experience as a federal judge and public defender and the historic nature of these hearings.
We are on the precipice of shattering another ceiling. Another glass ceiling.
Judge Jackson vowing to decide cases, quote, without fear or favor, if confirmed.
I commit to you that I will work productively to support and defend the Constitution.
Democrats are pushing to confirm the president's pick by early April. After this week's hearings, Judge Jackson will continue to meet with senators, and once a full vote in the Senate happens, Jackson could be confirmed without any Republican support. In Washington, I'm Bree Jackson for NBC News.
In your 17 Core Watch this morning, jury selection is set to begin tomorrow in the trial of Matthew Queen, accused of torturing and killing a man in what's become known as the Bakersfield 3 case. This is video of Queen in court earlier this month. Jury selection in his trial is expected to last about 2 weeks. The trial itself is expected to take roughly 45 days. Queen is also charged with multiple firearm, kidnapping, and threat offenses stemming from other incidents. Queen and ex-girlfriend Bailey Despot are accused of torturing and killing Micah Holsenbake. Despot, Holsenbake, and a third person, James Kolstad, were acquaintances dubbed the Bakersfield 3. After being killed or going missing within months of each other in 2018.
A Bakersfield man faces up to 40 years in prison for receiving child porn. According to the U.S. Attorney's Office, 64-year-old John Perry pleaded guilty to receiving material involving the sexual exploitation of minors. According to court documents, Perry received child porn on a cell phone in February 2020. Perry also has a previous conviction for rape of a child in Washington state, according to the documents. Perry's due in court for sentencing June 27th. The minimum penalty is 15 years in prison, and the maximum is 40 years in prison and a $250,000 fine.
A police pursuit that began in Delano made its way to Highway 99 and eventually Bakersfield. Take a look at this. This was the scene in downtown Bakersfield around 3 o'clock yesterday afternoon. The chase involved the Delano Police Department and CHP. The vehicle was eventually stopped beneath the Chester Avenue overpass just south of Truxton Avenue. Delano police say they arrested 3 people that were inside the vehicle. They all face charges of brandishing a weapon and other weapons charges, felony evasion, and an assault on a police officer. No one was hurt.
And meantime, take a look at this shocking video. A Tesla driver tried to pull off a dangerous stunt in Los Angeles over the weekend, and now police are searching for that driver. It happened in Echo Park shortly after midnight on Sunday. Several people recorded the stunt on camera, and that video's now gone viral. The video shows the Tesla Model S soaring over the crest of a steep hill before nosediving and crashing into parked cars and trash bins. Police say the 2018 Tesla was abandoned after crashing. LAPD shared the video shot by witnesses, and they're offering a $1,000 reward. Officers filed a misdemeanor hit-and-run incident report. No injuries have been reported.
So this video obviously went viral online, and again, it happened early Sunday morning. So a lot of people were sharing it yesterday. And if you really look at how high the car gets after going airborne and how far it's in the air, it's you know, you can imagine how fast it had to have been going before, you know, going airborne. So again, this is something that has gone viral, but now police are looking for the driver responsible for that crash. Right here, right there, you can see it, how high it goes.
It's crazy, but also there are all these bystanders nearby, and I mean, it is just a miracle that no one got hit or taken out when the car went airborne like it did.
Exactly.
Really crazy.
5:34 is our time now, and after more than 3 weeks of fighting, Russian forces have yet to take control of the capital or any major city in Ukraine.
U.S. officials now saying troops on the ground have stalled as the attack from the air becomes more frequent and deadly, adding to the pressure of those trying to escape. Jay Gray's at a train station in Poland just over the Ukraine border with more on the fighting and the struggle for millions trying to get to safety.
A 10-story shopping mall and several homes in the center of Kyiv reduced to twisted metal and chunks of concrete. The mayor announcing a reinforced curfew through 7 tomorrow morning. In Kherson, hundreds of protesters running from gunfire and stun grenades after trying to block Russian military vehicles. The Kremlin's war plan continuing to take aim at civilian targets, with survivors rushing to get out.
You stand here and see the sadness and of the people that are walking across, the little girls crying, the little boys crying, and then just holding their heads down.
Scenes that play out over and over as John Zarlinski waits for relatives and friends along the Poland-Ukraine border.
I'm trying to sponsor them to bring them on a visa back home, and or waiting to see if the government has some sort of program for the refugees.
No one was waiting at the border for this 15-year-old who escaped Kyiv with a group of friends.
Because my dad is invalid and they can't go to the Polish and other countries.
Like so many who make the same journey, he can't help but think about those left behind.
I don't worry about me, but something I worry about my family.
And wonders when or if he'll see them again. Jay Gray, NBC News, along the Poland-Ukraine border.
Meantime, the White House is on alert for cyber attacks from Russia. The Biden administration urged U.S. businesses to take added precautions amid evolving intelligence that Russia could target American companies. Officials called the threat credible and issued a call to action.
This is about us, the work we need to do to lock our digital doors and to put the country in the best defensive position. And there is them. As the president has said, the United States is not seeking confrontation with Russia. But he has also said that if Russia conducts disruptive cyber attacks against critical infrastructure, we will be prepared to respond.
Officials add high target companies participated in a previous classified briefing about the cyber attack warnings.
A Russian court has found jailed Kremlin critic Alexei Navalny guilty of large-scale fraud. Prosecutors are seeking to move him to a maximum security penal colony for 13 years on charges of fraud and contempt of court. He is currently serving a 2.5-year sentence at a prison camp east of Moscow for parole violations related to charges he says were trumped up to hinder his political ambitions. His opposition movement has been labeled extremist and shut down, but he has continued to issue messages on social media from prison through his legal team and aides. He most recently urged Russians to oppose the war in Ukraine.
Severe storms and several tornadoes tore through Texas on Monday. Dozens of homes and buildings were damaged, leaving thousands without power throughout the state. In Madisonville, no injuries have been reported so far, but there is significant damage in and around the area. Power lines were scattered and structures destroyed. Orr City saw lots of damage, as well as the fierce storm blew through that area, bringing with it strong winds and lightning. Trees damaged homes and were thrown across roads. There were several people injured in Orr City, but no deaths have been reported. And take a look at this. A tornado took a truck on a wild ride in Elgin, Texas. You can see the twister hitting that red truck as it crosses the road. The vehicle's blown over onto its side, spun around, and then blown right back up, right side up. A few seconds later, the driver actually drives away. Incredible.
Now we turn to our 17 follow-up file, and we reported 3 weeks ago police discovered 2 people dead inside a home on 8th Street in central Bakersfield. Police now labeling the deaths as suspicious. Neighbors say they don't know much about the man and woman who lived there, just that they kept to themselves, besides when they would come outside to get the newspaper. They believe the pair had been dead for a while before authorities found them.
You can obviously smell them. I saw the crows going around, you know, like in a circle right here. We seen all those, but we didn't know until the cops came and took them.
BPD declined to release more information about this investigation. The coroner has yet to identify the victims. Neighbors say they've seen people breaking into the home since the deaths.
Your time is 5:40. Education news now. Bakersfield's success in the business building virtual enterprise competition is well documented.
Yes, but this year it was the underdogs, or rather wolves, who came out on top. 17's Chris Burtney is joining us this morning in studio talking about this. Chris, I got to tell you, every year we do stories that highlight the amazing accomplishments, usually with Bakersfield High School or Centennial High School, but we've got another one in the mix this year.
Yeah, well, you know, not only did they come out on top, they actually made history, and we'll get to that in a minute. But as they head to New York, it's not just the business that they're excited about.
It's community involvement and compassionate efforts.
For Ridgeview High's virtual enterprise class, plane tickets across the country are anything but business as usual.
The nerves will probably hit me like the day before I got on the plane ride. Once we get to New York, I'm like, wow, this is real.
10 Ridgeview students are headed to Wall Street next month to pitch their simulated businesses to real investors. For a program historically overshadowed by area powerhouses like Bakersfield and Centennial High Schools, history feels good.
This is the first time Bakersfield ever sends 2 schools to New York City, and this is the first time in California history that one school is sending the number 1 and number 2 ranked schools to New York City, but it means a lot.
In his 2 years at Ridgeview, Coach Miguel Garcia has turned around a program that failed to make the state competition for a decade. But he gives all the credit to his students.
People always congratulate me on our success, but like I always tell them, the kids make it look like I know what I'm doing. I really got the best kids.
Those kids have built 2 award-winning virtual businesses this year. There's Nature's Canvas.
Nature's Canvas is basically a one-stop art supply shop. We sell all eco-friendly products.
And Toys and Tales.
We're basically a one-stop doggy luxury boutique.
Both teams will put their business plans and marketing tactics up against schools from around the country in New York. Nerves are high.
It's been very stressful, but it's also been very rewarding.
But ask any VE student what the best part of the journey has been, and you'll get the same answer.
Being able to do all this stuff with my friends.
The people on my team are like genuinely my best friends now.
The best part is just being able to go through
all the emotions and build something from the ground up with my best friends.
Yeah, well, they head to New York April 2nd. It's been almost 2 decades since a Ridgeview team has competed in the national trade show. And we, of course, wish the best of luck to Ridgeview's 2 talented teams and Miguel Garcia, former Sunrise editor.
Yeah, I was going to say, can we brag for just a bit?
Absolutely. Yeah.
You know, he's just incredible. He's always been, well, help me remind me.
He started as an intern
here
with the Boys and Girls Club.
Right.
And then got hired on as an editor.
And now he's, leading some students.
So incredible. You know, I wish I had done that program when I was in high school. You learned so many amazing things. Those kids are brilliant.
I was talking to those kids, and they're so far ahead of where I was in
Right?
high school. It's really cool. Yeah.
We should, again, like you said, though, there are other schools competing too. And so it just shows you that this is not just one local school. We've got some amazing students in Kern County that are doing a lot more than I think either of us could say we did at that age,
So
for
true.
sure.
Absolutely.
All right, thank you so much, Chris. Also in education news, Bakersfield College is continuing its Distinguished Speaker Series this week. Erica L. Sanchez will speak to students virtually Thursday at 10 a.m. and 2 p.m. Sanchez is a poet, feminist, and author of the New York Times bestselling novel, I Am Not Your Perfect Mexican Daughter, which was a finalist for the National Book Award. To register or learn more, you can visit bakersfieldcollege.edu.
Working in the spirit of the Golden Empire, this is 17 News at Sunrise.
The 17 News at Sunrise podcast is a production of KGET and Nexstar Media Group. For more on all of the headlines in today's show, head to kget.com.